Hey, cheers, everybody. Welcome back to Good Bets, Good Times. This is the football betting show built for all of my fellow D-Gens, my weekend warriors, who want to win a little bit more, lose a little bit less, and of course, have a good damn time along the way. I'm Nate Tuttle of NT Sports. Thank you once again for stopping by. In today's episode, we continue on with college football preview season. And next up, the Monster Energy Big 12 Conference. Yeah, you heard that correctly. They are sponsored by Monster Energy Drink. That rules. My personal favorite conference, to be honest with you, to watch, bet, handicap, just try to make sense of the chaos that is the Big 12 Conference year in and year out. The offseason has been full of drama, mostly surrounded by Texas Tech and Brandon Sorsby, and Tech has become the new heel of the league, the new villain. The team everybody seems to love to hate now, which is awesome. We need that in college football. We need that in the Big 12. We'll talk about it. Outside of Texas Tech, there's a lot can happen in this conference. There's a lot of teams that can take that number 2 spot. You know, BYU's right there. Utah, the K-State, TCU. I mean, we can go on, and we'll get into every team here in a second, but yeah, it's going to be exciting to see. My personal pick is obviously Texas Tech with the schedule and the roster. They have a clear path to once again winning this conference, at least being in the championship game. But who's that number 2 team? That's what I'm really curious about. So, yeah, we'll break down the top 5 betting favorites to win the conference, our dark horse pick, our value bet, and then we'll roll through the rest of the conference rapid fire style, sprinkle in a few win total bets that we have along the way. And before we get started, if you are watching along on YouTube and you're digging the show, feel free to give us a like, comment, subscribe to catch all of the new episodes as they drop. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, hey, a follow, a rating, a review would also be greatly appreciated. So thank you very much. And without further ado, grab your favorite beverage, kick back, and let's talk some ball, shall we?
I love guys who like football. And guys who like football, they like me back, and I like them back.
So here we go. Big 12 Conference. Starting at the top with the villain, the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Sitting at plus 100. I think there's a plus 105 right now for them to win the Big 12 Conference. They were as high as minus 130, minus 135. Sitting in that Miami territory that we talked about last week. And Sorsby news came, and the odds dropped to plus 100. Then we found out Texas Tech was going to support him. He was going to play. He was back for a couple days. The odds went back up, came back down. When finally the saga came to an end, and Brandon Sorsby announced that he was going to head to the NFL supplemental draft, which turns out does not take place. So it looks like he will not be playing football this year. As far as we know, unless he finds another league who wants to bring him along. But no worries. This is still by far the best team in the conference. I mean, any way you look at it. And I'm more than happy to put down a unit on that plus 100, 50% implied odds to win the Big 12 championship. And Joey McGuire enters his 5th season. He's 35-18 at Texas Tech. They've got the money. They've got the resources now. And year after year, they're showing that, they've lost talent to the NFL draft. They lost David Bailey, first-round pick. They lost Jacob Rodriguez. They lost a number of other guys from that defense. No worries. We'll just reload. We'll just go to Miami of Ohio and bring in Adam Trick. Fits this system. Another pass rusher. Trey White from San Diego State. Defense is going to be great once again, no matter how you look at it. This team is going to be very similar to the team last year. Yeah, Baron Morton was our starting quarterback. He's gone. He was a veteran senior, led this team. Will Hammond coming off of torn ACL, expected to miss the first few weeks of the season. They have Kirk Francis, Tulsa transfer, experienced quarterback. Start those first few weeks, which no worries. Weeks 1 and 2, Abilene Christian, and then at Oregon State. So couple of games that they should win. I would like to see them get Will Hammond a little bit of work if he's close, at least a few snaps, a few series in those games to get before they head into week 3 and have to play the Houston Cougars at home. But regardless, running backs are back. This is a team that's going to rely on their defense. They, just like that last year, I mean, they have the weapons. They returned 2 starting wide receivers, brought in a transfer from Pitt, Kenny Johnson, all Big 12 tight end, Terrence Carter, and then 3 starters on the O-line, and then brought in 2 significant transfers, a couple of guards to play O-line. So no matter what publication you read, they're number 1 at just about every position group. 5, 6 position groups. Their best talent, depth, experience in the conference. And the last thing, look at the schedule. I mean, these guys, they start with Abilene Christian, Oregon State. Then they jump into Big 12 play with, in my opinion, their most difficult game of the entire season on week 3 against Houston. Then they play Sam Houston. And then from there, it's Big 12. But they do avoid 3 of the top 5 contenders that we'll talk about today: BYU, Utah, and Kansas State. They go on the road to play Colorado. My pick to finish dead last in this conference. Arizona State, the rematch, the only team that beat them last year. To me, it's going to be a down year. Arizona State's probably a 6-7 win team this year. They get them at home. Got to go to Cincinnati, another team that's going to be down. Might win 5-6 games this year. Arizona, fun one at home. Looking forward to that game. Halloween, October 31st. Set your calendar. No time yet, but yeah, that's going to be Noah Fafita coming into town. Let's see how he does against this Tech defense. Follow that up with West Virginia. The new look Oklahoma State Cowboys on the road. Back-to-back road games there. Oklahoma State and Baylor. Could be a spot. Could be some spots they trip up. And then last but not least, Thursday, Thanksgiving night, 8 p.m. against TCU. Thank you. Thank you, Big 12 and ESPN. That is an outstanding Thanksgiving night game. Love that. And we'll talk about TCU here in a second, but they're another team that I think can make some noise this year. It's going to be a real fun team to watch. And yeah, Tech gets them at home to round out the year. But anyway, you look at it, Tech's the team in this conference. We bet them plus 100 to win this conference. With this schedule, this path, this defense, the talent discrepancy from them to the second best team in this conference, which is BYU, a team that they beat by 20 plus last season twice. It's pretty significant, and I don't care who's playing quarterback. I think Will Hammond will be just fine, given that he's healthy. He'll do enough on offense. Now, is this a team that's going to make a run in the playoffs? I think we see the same outcome as last year, to be honest with you. I think they roll through, win the Big 12, and then play a big dog in the playoff. And the flaws in their offense potentially could show at that point once again. So we'll see there. But yeah, number 1 contender in this conference by far, Texas Tech, plus 100. Definitely a buy. You can get plus 105 out there. Just saying, there's a book that's laying it. So jump on that if you feel inclined. Next up, we just mentioned them. BYU Cougars. Big 12 runner-up last year. Had a great season. Finished up 11-1 in the regular season, 12-2 overall. Lost that Big 12 title game. As I mentioned, lost twice to Texas Tech by 22 and 27 points. And, hey, Pop-Tart Bowl champions. That's something to be proud of. I know a team in South Bend, Indiana, who didn't want to play in that game, which would have been a great game. I would love to see BYU Notre Dame, and they get to play this year, which is nice. And BYU gets them at home too, which is going to be an awesome game. But Kalani Sitake's back, 11th year, 84-45 record overall. Guy we love to play as a dog. And continuity at the OC position. They got Aaron Roderick back for his 5th year. DC, they did lose Jay Hill to Michigan. So he was, there for 3 years. This was a great defense last year. So they're breaking in a new DC. Some continuity, though. Kelly Papinga been at BYU for the past 3 years. So still some continuity there. Not a huge deal. We also got this offense, though. Bear Bachmeier in year 2. True freshman last year, sophomore now. Big number 47, which is still a little off-putting for me. But hey, he showed me last year it doesn't matter. Wear whatever number you want, kid. And then, of course, they got Big 12 Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year last year. LJ Martin is back. Wide receiving core. They returned two juniors. No starters from last year's team. And they got a transfer, Kyle Casper. And it also transferred tight end, Walker Lyons, junior tight end. So they bring in some guys to play receiver. Going to have a really good offensive line once again. Return back 2 starters and then a left tackle transfer. And defense, this was top 3 defense in the league last year, maybe top 2 outside of Texas Tech. And if you look at the position group ratings here, top 2 or 3 across the board, defensive line, linebacker, secondary, return 2 starters on the D line, 2 starters on linebacker, get a significant transfer from Cal, Cade Uluave, easy for me to say. And then 3 returning starters in the secondary. So 7 total starters back on defense, a really good linebacker transfer. Lost DC, continuity there, all good. To me, it's hard not to see a collision course with BYU Texas Tech rematch in this Big 12 title game. But we know how this conference works. It's not going to be that simple. Let's look at BYU's schedule. So out of conference wise, they got, Utah Tech starting off the year. Got to go to Colorado State. Interesting. Jim Mora era. And then we know we have October 17th. They have Notre Dame at home out of conference. So maybe give them 2-1 in the non-con. If Notre Dame is as good as advertised and they come in and can beat BYU. Conference wise though, second week of the season, they got Arizona at home. Team that took them to the limit last year. BYU probably should have lost that game. They go to TCU. Home against Iowa State should be a win. Rebuilding Iowa State team. Following this is the spot though. Following Notre Dame, October 24th, they got to go out to UCF. Travel out to Orlando, Florida, at the bounce house, off that Notre Dame game. Going to be interesting. And the following week, they got to come back home and play Arizona State. Then the following week, they got at Utah. So that little stretch there. Notre Dame at UCF, home at Arizona State, at Utah, back home against Baylor, go out to Kansas, which is an interesting team. BYU wins that game, and then they finish up at Cincinnati, home against Cincinnati, which win, no doubter. So in the conference, I'm seeing at TCU, at Utah, at UCF, one of those 3 road spots could get them. Curious about Arizona. That's one of those teams on the borderline of the top 5. They got probably the best quarterback in the league. Definitely the most experienced quarterback in the league. Great defense last year. So Arizona could be a spot there. So, hey, they have some tricky road spots. Notre Dame sprinkled right in the middle of the season. So at plus 600, this isn't a bet I want to make. I'm going to pass here. Maybe a wait and see and a team we may want to bet in season, depending on how the rest of the conference starts to shake out. But yeah, at plus 600, not any value for BYU to win this conference. Next up, Utah. Another fun team. Lost Kyle Whittingham to Michigan, but hey, they still got some continuity here. Morgan Scalley takes over. Been with the program since 2008. Defensive coordinator last 10 years. So Utah is still going to be Utah. They kept Devin Dampier. Fun, dynamic quarterback. They got Bird Ficklin comes in now and then, likes to run the ball. Brought back their leading rusher, Wayshawn Parker. And brought in some wide receiver transfers. Not the best wide receiver room in the league, but got a guy from Utah State, got a guy from San Jose State. Junior, senior, some guys that can play. And they got to replace all 5 starters. last year in the episode, we harped on Utah was our team in this conference. We harped on the offensive line being the difference maker with Devin Dampier, dynamic quarterback. And still, won 11 games, won 11-2. Didn't make the Big 12 championship. Did lose to BYU, did lose to Texas Tech, both teams who were in the championship game. But they're plus 800. Similar situation to BYU. I mean, deservedly so, should be the third favorite in this conference, in my opinion, just because of the quarterback play, the continuity in the coaching staff. Continuity from the head coach. They do have a new OC, Kevin McGivern from Utah State, and promoted Colton Swan. It's been Utah for the past 6 years, so some continuity there on the defensive side of the ball, promoting him to DC. The defense also lost 9 starters on defense, so got to replace the entire offensive line. The good news about Utah is, I mean, they breed offensive linemen, so, I mean, they have 3 internal guys who've been on the team who are going to be promoted up to starters this year, brought in 2 transfers as well. O-line should be fine. Won't be as good as last year, but they'll be good enough to protect Dampier. All new D-line starters. Return 1 linebacker, Jonathan Hall, and then 2 starters and then a transfer in the secondary. But overall, this is a top 5 defense in the league. Got a dynamic offense. Going to make some noise in the conference. Schedule here. Idaho to start off the season. Got Arkansas at home, Utah State at home, Iowa State in the road, rebuilding, Kansas State at home, at Colorado. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6-0. I mean, not a game on that schedule. First 6 games of the year, they should lose. Then they got Houston coming to town, which is going to be a good one. Go out to Cincinnati. Should take care of business there. Get BYU at home this year. Got to go to Arizona and TCU back-to-back. So there's some tricky spots there. That's in late November, too. So following up on BYU at home, the Holy War. It's going to be an awesome game again this year. The following week, they got to go to Arizona and go to TCU back-to-back. So in what could be a game where against the BYU, they're 8-0? If they can upset BYU at home, I say. Not sure who would be the favorite in that game. Should be pretty close. Then big letdown spot on the road to Arizona. The spot we're circling. Then TCU, and then they get West Virginia at home, which should be a win. So once again, I mean, there's a path to 10-11 wins again this year. If they beat BYU, that game could decide who plays in this conference championship game. They don't have to play Texas Tech. Don't have to play Kansas State. They got Houston at home, BYU at home. So they're 2 most difficult opponents this year. 2 of the top 5 contenders, BYU and Houston, both at home. A couple trickery road spots, but hey, still plus 800 to win the conference. Man, it's one. If you do I'm going to pass at this number because I like some teams farther down the board that at some longer odds that I want to sprinkle on. But at plus 800, if you like it, get it now because this team is going to most likely start the season 6-7, maybe 8-0 going into BYU, and that game could decide a conference. So these odds are not going to get any shorter. Shop around, maybe wait and see if this drops a little bit, but it's a pass for us on Utah. There are some spots, though, that we're going to be on this team throughout the season. Next up, Kansas State. So this is a team we have a couple bets on. Kansas State Wildcats. New era. Colin Klein era in Manhattan. They're plus 1,500 to win the conference. And win total sitting at, depending on where you look, 7.5 really juiced up. Sitting at 8.5 in most books now. This is one where we locked up the over 7.5 at minus 157. I think you can get the 7.5 at some books. I think it's probably in the 160s now. which is still fine. I would still bet that. And we sprinkled at plus 1,500 to win the conference. That's the best odds out there that I could find. A lot of books are down around plus 1,200, plus 1,300. So if you like 15-1 for Kansas State, still out there, feel free to jump on it. But Colin Klein is back. He's a legend at Kansas State. Was their OC a couple years ago when Avery Johnson first got to the team. Went over to Texas A&M, had success the past 2 years there, including a playoff berth last year. New OC, Sean Gleason, comes in from Mizzou. DC, Jordan Peterson, also came with him from A&M. This team disappointed. It's a team we liked last year. Finished 6-6. Didn't want to play in a bowl game. Assuming due to the coaching change, which is disappointing. Ah, man. Not a fan of teams opting out of bowl games. Just play the bowl. The guys you got want to play. It's a big deal for them. It's core memory. Play in the damn bowl game. Anyway, I digress. Avery Johnson is back. Curious to see what Coach Klein can do here with Avery Johnson. Senior QB. He's been around a while. We've been waiting for that season where he lives up to all the hype he had when he came into the program a few years ago. This team chose Avery Johnson over Will Howard. Will Howard goes on to Ohio State, wins a national championship. So they love this guy. He was recruited by Colin Klein. He's this guy. It's going to be fun to see what he does. The rest of the roster, interesting. So got a veteran running back. Joe Jackson returns, leading rusher, bringing Rodney Fields also from Oklahoma State. Receiving core, about average in the conference, around number 5 or 6 group. They bring back one senior receiver, bring back a senior tight end, bring in a few transfers. Got a 5-star tight end, sophomore Lincoln Cure, which is interesting. And outside of their starting left tackle, they brought in 4 new starters on the offensive line. Defense, this is where it gets interesting. So 9 starters gone from the defense last year. All new starters at linebacker, all new starters, 4 transfers on the D-line. And we do return both guys in their secondary, both starting cornerbacks, plus 2 transfer safeties. So a lot of changeover on the defensive side of the ball. Be curious to see what Jordan Peterson can do. He was the co-DC last year at A&M under Mike Elko. So got good pedigree. Should be able to get this thing going. But the biggest thing for Kansas State, it comes down to the schedule too. I mean, this is a team that you would think if they had a schedule like Arizona or like a TCU, probably consider them mid-tier Big 12 next year, given all the transition and the turnover. But given what they have at quarterback, the potential of Avery Johnson, worth a flyer at 15-1 to make a run at this conference. Because look at the schedule. Nicholls, Washington State, and Tulane start off. Washington State and Tulane, all 3 home games. So start off 3-0. I don't see them losing any of those games. Tulane breaking in a new coach as well. Playoff team last year, but going to be down a little bit compared to last season. Cincinnati, not liking Cincinnati this year. Probably a 4 or 5 win team. Then a big test, Houston at home. Kansas in a rivalry game at home. Got back-to-backs here. Go to Arizona State off the rivalry game, and then Colorado on Halloween. Could be some tricky road spots right there, the back-to-back road games. Oklahoma State at home with that offense, but also very limited on defense. Could be a shootout. Go to TCU, which is a tough spot on the road. Arizona at home, finish up on Iowa State. So they don't play Texas Tech, they don't play BYU, and they don't play Utah. The top 3 favorites right now in this conference, they avoid. Their toughest game, Houston. Second toughest game, in my opinion, Arizona. And then TCU on the road, which could be tricky. But outside of that, I mean, how does this team not win 8 games? Potentially win 10 games And if Utah and BYU, they play each other, if one of them trips up, loses 2 games, I mean, hey, Kansas State has a path right to the playoff, right to the Big 12 championship game. So we're on K-State, over 7.5 wins at minus 157, and we are on Kansas State to win the Big 12 championship at 15-1 plus 1,500, still out there. Houston Cougars. Willie Fritz, he's in his 3rd year as the coach of the Cougs, coming off a big 10-win season last year, 9-3 in the regular season, beat LSU in the Texas Bowl, finished 10-3 overall. Went 6-0 on the road last year, super interesting. They did lose to Texas Tech, West Virginia, and TCU, all at home. Took care of business on the road. Senior quarterback Connor Wegman is back. They got talent throughout the receiver position. Bring in Mekhi Hughes, who's been around Oregon, Tulane. Year 3, Willie Fritz. He's building something here. This is a team I do like. 18-1 is solid odds. But yeah, compared to the other 4 teams we just talked about, I can't get on Houston to make it to the conference championship game and win this conference. Their win total is a 7.5. Juice to the over at minus 155. We got them at 8, so a little bit of value, not much on the over there. Don't like it. And they did lose quite a few key contributors on defense. Their leading sacks leader, leading tackler. Do return one starter, one significant DN, Khalil Lafau, plus 2 transfers, a couple senior linebackers back, return both safeties, all Big 12 cornerback Will James. But so defense, I mean, top 5, top 6 unit in this league next year. There were 6-1 in 1-score games last year, so see some regression coming in that department. And if you look at the schedule, this is where it gets tricky. This is the biggest reason why we are going to be out in the Cougs. So non-con, start off at Oregon State, win. Got Southern coming to town, win. Then 3rd game of the season, we already talked about this. They got to go on the road to Texas Tech. That's an 8 p.m. Fox game, September 18th. That's going to be a loss. Will Heyman should be back by then. Ideally, he's played a little bit before then. If Will Heyman does start, this is his first game back. Could be tricky. Could be a competitive game, but still, Tech takes this one. Got to go to Georgia Southern, which is interesting. That should be a win. No worries there. UCF at home should be a win. K-State, we just talked about them. They got to go on the road to play K-State. Got to go out to Manhattan. I'm seeing that one as a loss. Oklahoma State, who we like, they're at home against Oklahoma State. They got to go to Utah, home against Cincy, at Colorado, back-to-back. And then they got to go out to West Virginia in late November. That's never fun. You want to go to Morgantown on November 21st after you've just been in Colorado. And they got to end the season at Baylor. So they play 3 of our top 4 contenders that we've just talked about. They play them all on the road. Tech, Kansas State, and Utah. That's 3 right there. We talked about the tricky spot going on to the WVU. Should take care of business at home. I mean, they slipped up last year. West Virginia came in and got them at home. Lost to TCU at home. Baylor, last game of the season. By then, Dave Veranda even going to be coach for Baylor anymore. Cincinnati at home. Scott Satterfield even going to be the coach. Going to Colorado. Is Dion even going to be the coach? So the last 4 games are solid. But like I said, I mean, they may hit that last stretch of the season. If they can't steal one against K-State, Utah, or Texas Tech, yeah, they may be already out of contention. But wild things happen in the Big 12. They could have 2 losses and find their way in. We'll see. But 18-1, not there with the Cougs. Next up, our dark horse. And this was tricky. We didn't go too far down the board. We'll talk about the rest of the league here in a second. But a team that I am fascinated by this year, who I think is worth a sprinkle at 30-1, a little value long shot play here on a consistent, steady program with a good coach who recruits well, brings in guys who fit this system year after year. And that's TCU Horned Frogs and Coach Sonny Dykes. So TCU plus 3,000, 30-1 to win this conference. We're taking that. I do like TCU. This is a team that won 9 games last year, 8-4 in the regular season. Very sneaky 9-win season last year. And they beat USC in the bowl game, the Alamo Bowl. They were 5-point dog in that game, beat them in overtime. Losses last year, they lost 3 road games: Arizona State, Kansas State, and at BYU. And they lost a home game to Iowa State. But this year, we know they lost Josh Hoover. He's off to Indiana. But they bring in senior QB Jaden Craig from Harvard. All-time passing leader at Harvard. A guy who's an NFL prospect. And they bring in OC from UConn, Gordon Samus. Runs a pro-style offense, perfect fit for Jaden Craig and what he can do. And it's going to be fun. If Jaden Craig hits, then TCU is going to be right in the thick of things. We know this team, they always have talent. They always have depth. Are they the most talented team in the league? No, that's why they're 30-1. But given how this conference shakes out, if you've got the quarterback, you've got the winning culture, you've got a coach like Sonny Dykes who's been there, then hey, that's just where we want to put a few bucks. Win total is at 6.5. We do see some value on the over. Not one I'm on yet. I want to see if I can get a better price. Then I think minus 140 is the best I'm seeing right now, which is not terrible. We project 7 wins, 7.1 wins. But maybe on the over here, just gonna wait and see. But let's take a look at their schedule too. It's not the easiest schedule, to be honest with you. In a long shot, it's not really the schedule. It's not a K-State style schedule that we just talked about. They got to go to Ireland, first of all, week 1 against UNC. That could be a make or break game. We saw what happened to K-State last year after they went out and lost a game to Ireland and then fell apart, won 6 games. They got Grambling and Arkansas State. Then they got to UCF in week 4. They do get BYU at home. They go to Baylor. Always a tricky game, rivalry game. Anything can happen there. Get back-to-backs, West Virginia and Kansas at home. Got to go to Arizona. Should be a fun one. And then look at the last. Well, let's start with Arizona. Look at the last 4 games. Look at November for TCU. They got to go to Arizona. Home against Kansas State. Home against Utah. Home against Texas Tech. So they play 4 out of the 5 top contenders we just talked about. They miss Houston, but they do have Arizona. And we just talked about the Texas Tech game, end of the year. I mean, hey, can they pull the shocker? Could that be the game that gets them into the championship game? I mean, they're going to have to steal 2 of those 4 at least, and definitely, win the rivalry game at Baylor, beat Arizona. So, it's tricky schedule. There's a reason that these odds are so high. But my bet here is Jaden Craig comes in, he pops, and TCU makes a run. Maybe it's one that these odds skyrocket. They get to November. Maybe we can get off of it at some point, make a little profit. But hey, 31 long shot. Let's go Horned Frogs. So what else we got? So there's 6 teams there. Let's do rapid fire here. Rest of the Big 12. Arizona, another team that it was tricky. I wanted to put Arizona in that last spot. It was a toss up there. They're at 20-1 in most books to win this conference. Over under win total sits at 7.5. Had a great season last year. Noah Fafita is back, and for this team to contend, he's gonna have to play even better this year. And they're going to have to repeat what they did on defense last year as well. The defense was surprisingly very good last year. They do play BYU, Texas Tech, and Kansas State all on the road. Plus, they play Utah and TCU. So outside of Houston, 5 of the 6 teams that we just talked about there, all on the schedule. Also have to go out to Morgantown. So for that reason, the schedule and schedule alone, at 20-1, I like TCU better at 30-1. Arizona State, man, got to rely on a couple young QBs. I don't know who's going to start. I don't know what quarterback's going to start. We know what Kenny Dillingham can do with QBs, how he transformed this team 2 years ago. Have a great number 15th ranked portal class this year. But major roster overhaul. Got to play Kansas out in London, which is weird. So yeah, at plus 2,200, we're out. We see some value to the under. We have it rated about at 6.5, but plus money, could be something there. Schedule's not terrible. They do play at BYU, at Texas Tech, Arizona on the road, last game of the season, rivalry game. They do play K-State as well. Play A&M on the road. That's going to be a loss. Kansas at home. Kansas, in London. Baylor at home. Hawaii at home. That's going to be a fun one. Getting the Rainbow Warriors come in and steal one. We'll see. Then this 3-game stretch here, Texas Tech, Kansas State, at Texas Tech, home against Kansas State, at BYU, Colorado. Then in mid-November, got to go out to the Bounce House, play UCF. Got Oklahoma State, team we like at home, and Arizona. Yeah, so I'd lean under 6.5 for Arizona State. Still like what Kenny Dillingham's building this year, but I'm seeing a 6, maybe a 7-win year. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Oklahoma State, Eric Morris comes in, brings in Drew Mestemaker, all his weapons from North Texas. Offense dead last in the league last year. In offense, have a shot to be number 1 in the league this year. So we're on their over. We got it 5.5. Oklahoma State 5.5 at minus 155. Sitting consensus is around 6 at minus 121. So got some value there. Got some CLV, which is nice. This is a bowl team. Only thing that's going to hold them back, and the only reason I didn't put them in the dark horse tier is just too many questions on defense. This is a team that's going to win games via the shootout, in my opinion. Schedule is good enough to get them that 6-win spot. Tulsa, they got Oregon, so yeah. But first 3, Tulsa's never going to be easy on the road. That's a tricky spot. They lost Tulsa last year, and they go to Oregon, or no, I got Oregon at home. Oregon's coming to town. Team that beat them by 60 last year. Murray State. Always tricky going out to Morgantown. UCF at home, at Houston, Colorado, Iowa State, Kansas State, Texas Tech, Arizona State, Kansas State. So, yeah, there's a path to the six wins there. That's their ceiling. But, yeah, we do like the over. I think at Tulsa, Murray State, UCF, Colorado, Iowa State, and then one of Arizona State, Kansas, or maybe they can go win at WVU with that offense. West Virginia doesn't have much of a defense, so that could be a fun shootout game in Morgantown. So project them at 6.3, like Oklahoma State, to hit that win total over. Baylor, 35-1. Win total sits at 6.5 in most shops. Juice to minus 140, which I think is right. This is another one, kind of like TCU. I'm just waiting on the price. I want to see where this goes. Dave Aranda is on the hot seat, brought in DJ Lagway, guy who has a lot of ties to Baylor in this program. And let's see if Baylor can turn him around and save Dave Aranda his job. And if he does happen to make it to November, because the schedule early on, I got Auburn starting off the season. I believe that's an offsite game, right? That's in Atlanta. Auburn in Atlanta. Prairie View, Louisiana Tech, Colorado. So one neutral site game. Auburn's going to beat them. We'll talk about Auburn here in a few weeks. But hey, they can start off 3-1, go to Arizona State. We'll see. TCU at home could pull an upset there. Kansas, at UCF. Iowa State at home should be a win. But then you get to mid-November, and you have a stretch of at BYU, home against Texas Tech, at Houston. So I see 1, 2, Colorado at home, 3, Iowa State at home, rebuilding team, 4, which by November, Iowa State might be clicking. Jimmy Rogers is a great coach. He's going to turn that program or bring it back to where it normally is before they lost Matt Campbell. So I think hitting this over, getting 7 wins is asking a lot. I don't know if 6-6 is good enough for Dave Aranda, what these expectations are with Baylor, but I do like the under. I'll probably end up being on the under at some point between now and the start of the season. Kansas, this is a super interesting team. Lance Leipold brought back Andy Kotelnicki to lead this offense. They got a good low O-line. They brought in Dylan Edwards from Kansas State, play running back. Need some improvement. They brought a heavy portal class in, really trying to improve the defense. Win totals of 5.5, juice to the over. I see Kansas as a bowl team. 6 wins, I think, would be a success for them. Let's see if Kotelnicki can get this offense back to where it used to be a couple of years ago. UCF 50-1. Another interesting team, Scott Frost, year 2, back at UCF. Brings in James Madison QB Alonzo Barnett. Remember him from the playoff last year. And they got a solid schedule. So I see a path to 6 wins here. It's another one where I'm leaning to the over. My numbers have it about 5.7. So at 148, not a play. But if I would lean over with UCF, schedule's not too bad. Got an early one at Pitt, non-con. Should beat Bethune-Cookman and Georgia State. TCU at home. Got to go to Houston and Oklahoma State back-to-back. Pretty tricky there. And then got a bye week. And then they got BYU at home. We talked about that spot. Probably, we'll see what that point spread is, but probably going to be on UCF. BYU coming off that Notre Dame game. Also, Baylor at home. Got to go to Kansas. Finish up with Arizona State, Iowa State, and Colorado all at home. So should be, with that last stretch after they get to BYU at home, Baylor, Kansas, Arizona State, Iowa State, Colorado. I mean, they should be playing for a bowl game. 6-7 wins is on the table here, especially if Scott Frost and Alonzo Barnett brings his game from James Madison and can excel in the Big 12. Could be a nice dark horse team at 50-1. WVU, another coach back in his second tenure at their school. Rich Rod, year 2. Basically another whole entire team. Massive portal class for West Virginia. I do like they brought in Michael Hawkins, Cam Cook from Jacksonville State. Running game should be legit. Will they have improvement on defense? They have the home field advantage. They could steal a couple games. They have the game against Virginia, which I believe is a neutral site game, week 3 in Charlotte. Start out with Coastal, Tennessee Martin, Virginia and Charlotte, Oklahoma State at home. That new look Oklahoma State team. Go to Iowa State, that's winnable. Arizona and Cincy back-to-back at home. Both of those games, winnable. Definitely Cincinnati at home. Then they got to go to TCU, Texas Tech, home against Kansas, which we talked about we do like. It's a 6-win team. Houston, Cougs come to town. They could pull an upset there. Then they finish the season out at Utah. So that end stretch there with 2 road games, TCU and Texas Tech, Kansas at home, and then Houston and Utah at Utah. So, man, it's hard to say. It's hard to say with West Virginia. Their win total is right at 5.5, and I project them right at 5.5. Could go either way. If you were going to bet this, I mean, at plus 135, you got to go under. The win total's over minus 162 plus. So, yeah, no value there. Have a path to a bowl game. See them stealing a couple games. Great run game. Will they have a defense? Cincinnati. It's a team that I kind of wanted to be on. I'm intrigued by J.C. French, quarterback they brought in. Lost pretty much their entire offensive skill group, though, including quarterback. They do have one of the nation's best offensive lines, which I found super interesting. Got a whole new defensive coordinator, new scheme on defense. Schedule is insane. They do play all top all 5 of the top contenders that we just talked about. You got Kansas State, got back-to-backs at Arizona, bye week, going to West Virginia. Back-to-back home games against Texas Tech and Utah. Got to go to Houston, Arizona State, Colorado, and then finish the year at BYU. So I don't think they'd be any of those top contending teams. That's 5 losses right there. Probably going to go into Morgantown and lose. Iowa State in late November, a rebuilding team. It's a tough spot. The Satterfield still have a job at that point. If they're not at least pushing for 6 wins in a bowl game, going to need some upsets. Going to have to pull out 1 or 2 of those. This is one where we project them right at 5.5, and there's no value here on the win total, in my opinion. I think there were some 6.5s early in the year when these lines first dropped. That would have been nice. I mean, I don't think they get to 6 wins, but the price, it's going to have to be a pass. The over's at plus 125. If you think they can pull some upsets, you think JC French hits and can do some damage behind this offensive line, and this new DC and scheme hits with all these transfers they have coming in on the defensive side, then it could be worth a flyer. I'm not seeing it. Iowa State, all new team. Matt Campbell took the majority of his players, over 50 players left in the portal. Most went to Penn State. Got 45 new players in via the portal. Bring in Arkansas QB Jalen Rayner, who takes over there. Jimmy Rogers, great coach, comes from Washington State last year, previously North Dakota State. We rebuild this thing. Not a problem there. Not going to be next year. They sit at 5.5 wins. Like the under, project them at 4.9. Once again, another one. There's, a third bet in this group where I'm just waiting on seeing what the price does. Not one I have to bet. I don't see him getting to 6 wins. It'd be amazing. Talking coach of the year material if Jimmy Rogers can get this team to a bowl after all this turnover. But yeah, we leaning towards the under in Iowa State. Not nothing I want to jump on at 100-1 to win this conference. Last but not least, another coach who I think should be on the hot seat, but they're intriguing, and rightfully so. I mean, it brought in Brennan Marion, brings in this new go-go offense for 5-star QB Julian Lewis, another new DC, no returning starters on offense. Everyone's gone. Brought in a ton of portal guys. Once again, that's what they do. They should improve off 3 wins. Win total sits at 4.5. It's juiced to under minus 160, 167. We have them at 4.1, so would lean to the under, but at that cost, not one I want to play there. Because this offense could click. They could surprise. Get some improvement on defense. They could hit 5 wins. They could hit this over. I see a path here. Schedule's very tricky. They got to start the season off at Georgia Tech. Got a home in Weber State. Got to go to Northwestern, which is never going to be easy. I think that's the 19th. Is that a Friday or Saturday night game? It's a night game at Northwestern. At Baylor, following that up. Back-to-backs home games, Texas Tech and Utah. Got to go to Oklahoma State. Kansas State at home. So that's what? Outside of BYU, they play 4 of the 5 top contenders there, plus those 2 tricky non-con road games. At Arizona State, at Cincy, UCF at home, Houston at home, Arizona State. So yeah. Definitely going to need to surprise, pull some upsets here to get over the win total. I'd lean under. If you want to pay the juice, go for it. But not for me. So, that wraps it up. That is the Big 12 conference. So just to do a quick recap, what are we on? We're on Texas Tech to win the conference at plus 100. We are on Kansas State to win the conference at 15-1. TCU to win the conference at 30-1. Win totals, we got 2 win totals right now. Kansas State over 7.5 at minus 157. And also Oklahoma State over 5.5 at minus 155. And then three win totals that we are just waiting on. We may jump on TCU over. Want to get a better price there. The Baylor under and Cincinnati under. So those 3 there. Those are our leans on the win totals that we haven't got on yet. We'll throw in Kansas over too. We'll see where this price goes. But I like this Kansas team to be a bowl team this year. We will see. But folks, that wraps it up. Once again, if you are liking the podcast, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast app. Don't forget to give us a follow, like, rating, review. Also, follow us on the socials. We're pretty much everywhere at NT Sports 22. Interact, throw some comments. We'll post clips, post a lot of commentary on X, like talking ball with the folks on X, college football Twitter. That's a blast. And next week we got Big Ten. Continuing on with college football. We'll get to some NFL, do a couple previews probably in August on NFL, where we're gonna get through all the Power 4 conferences and some Group of 5 stuff in college football first. Next week, Big Ten. Looking forward to that. Can't wait to talk about my Buckeyes in this Big Ten conference. And that's it, folks. Until next week, cheers.